Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I have been waiting more than a year to do this video. It's kind of ridiculous, but I am very excited to be here. When we purchased the Abeka K5 video curriculum a little over a year ago, I was very interested to see how it would work for our family. I was very excited to see how Caleb would grow and learn through this program since it had so many glowing reviews. And so today I'm going to give you a full review of what we thought of the Abeka Video K5 curriculum. Now, I've done a lot of videos about this already, just kind of some updates. I did a video about the curriculum that you get. I did a video about like how we store the papers and everything, the endless worksheets that seem to come, especially when they're young. And this is the official review. And just in short, loved it. Absolutely loved it. A year ago, Caleb, I mean, he's always been able to pick up things, pretty easily. Some things more than others, obviously, just like any kid. But a year ago, he could print his name very well. Now he can write his first and last name in cursive. Cursive is actually taught in kindergarten with Abeka, and to be honest, I was very hesitant about it. The reason why I went ahead and decided to go with that for him is that even though he's always been on the young side for his grade, we did wait a year before we did kindergarten, so he wouldn't be the absolute youngest in his class. I know I've talked about this before. He has a late July birthday, and the school deadline where we live is August 1st, and so we'd rather him be a little older and on par or ahead of the game instead of being smaller and behind. And but still, he's a boy. Little boys, they mature a little slower than girls. That's just how it is. But even when he learned to print his name when he was 4 years old, he was one of the first kids in the class to do it successfully. He has had a pen or pencil or crayon, marker, something in his hand since he was about 2.5. He's always been really good at drawing. I mean, no Picasso, but still, he's always been pretty dexterous with his hands. And so I figured, well, let's just try it and see what we think. And he just took it. He did amazing. If you follow me on Instagram, I can link my Instagram below. It's just at Real Housewife Rachel. I post a lot of stories, or I did when we were doing the school year. I posted a lot of stories about his handwriting. Here, I can grab a test right here. This was from about a month ago, and his are on the second and fourth lines. Like, that's pretty good for a 6-year-old. That's pretty good for a 60-year-old, really. And he just did amazing with this, and very, very proud of his progress. He learned to read this year. A year ago he knew his letters, but that's about it. Now, of course, we worked with him on stuff, but one of the reasons why we chose the video was that I don't know how to teach someone to read. I would rather someone who knows what they're doing, has experience with little tricks and things like that, sayings and things like that to help them along. I would rather someone else do that. Maybe it's a self-confidence issue, probably a little bit, but we're really just more comfortable having Mrs. Reese do it. And I'll talk about her here in a second. But he went from knowing just his letters to all the letter sounds, combinations, blends, all of that. 1 vowel words, 2 vowel words, long, short, all of that. He did amazing. He still struggles a little bit with some of those, but it's just the learning process. And it also it became more obvious to me why it is so difficult for people to learn English. It is not easy at all. The phonics, that's a lot. And like I said, he's not even 7 yet. I've heard that kindergarten is the new first grade. Does that sound right? I do know that there are things that he learned this year that I did not learn until well into first grade. And that was, 30 years ago, but still, times change. He learned to count to, I don't even know how high he could count before school started, but he learned to count to 100 by ones, by 2s, by 5s, by 10s. He learned to tell time. He learned to count money. Learned a lot of really great Bible stories. I mean, he's in church 2-3 times a week, so I mean, he has that already, but having it incorporated into school is really great. Now let me just talk about Mrs. Reese. Mrs. Reese is a gift. I fell in love with her on the little samples that they provide on Abeka's website. She has 36, I think, years experience teaching kindergarten, and just how she speaks, how she carries herself, how she commands attention in that class it's so admirable. I hope that we get to use this with Brayden. I hope that this is something that will work for him. We'll talk about him later, but I really hope we can bring Mrs. Reese back into our home another year for kindergarten. She is so wonderful. She captures their attention, all those little children in that class, including mine, who really Bible in the mornings was the only subject that he consistently would sit and was just enthralled by. She would tell these stories in a way.
Look what I did.
Oh, that's great. Can you draw more, please?
It's not a happy face.
What kind of a face is it?
It's
it's a sad face. It's a sad face. Okay, can you go draw some more, please?
Yeah.
Okay, you need to go. You can be in my video later. Okay. But the way she tells those stories, and her tone and her pauses, I would find myself sitting and just listening like this. She kind of puts you in a trance a little bit. Okay, that sounds bad, but I think you know what I mean. She has true talent working with these little kids. She has all these cute ways of reminding them to do certain things, whether it's in their blends, like phonics, numbers, handwriting. For example, with this, what's a good example? The S, see how the S at the very end goes up to the middle line? She calls it a smile. She says go up and down, across, and smile. So it's those cute things that stick with you. We learned about all sorts of different countries. We learned skills development, which is one of the subjects that is, some of it we skipped over because, you know, those kids in there are 5. 5 turning 6. We had a 6-year-old, a solid 6-year-old going through the whole year. He'll be 7 in July. Some of the things were a little, he could already do them. Hand washing, he knows how to wash his hands. He can do it correctly. Oh, what's some other things? Tying shoe, which he can't do yet. But those kinds of things. So it went beyond just the academics. It went into life skills. We did social studies, like I said, where we learned about a bunch of different countries. We did science. I say that very loosely. It was really, it didn't dive into too much. I think he was ready to do more than the science book had. I think he was ready to dive in a little bit more into science, where it was like, this is a hummingbird. A hummingbird has wings. A hummingbird eats nectar. It was very basic. I feel like he could have done more, and we'll see what he does next year. So would I recommend this curriculum to everyone? No, because not every curriculum is right for everyone. If you're very busy like us, I work part-time from home. My husband travels a lot. We're very, very busy with that. Our schedule can be a little all over the place sometimes. We have Brayden, who just turned 4 right at the beginning of the school year, and he requires a lot of personal attention. And so I loved that I could have Mrs. Reese carrying on school up here in our schoolroom, and I didn't have to be sitting right there the whole time. If you have a kid who likes to do worksheets, likes to see something that is completed in front of them, this would be great for you. I do feel like some of the worksheets, the seat work especially, I feel like some of it was busy work. And about halfway through the year, when I realized this is really just busy work, he's not getting anything out of this, there were some that I said, you don't have to do that one today. because I feel like our time could be better spent doing something else. And since we're unaccredited and I'm the teacher, I can do what I want. And so there were some crafts even that we didn't do for whatever reason. Yeah, I didn't want so much structure with this to kind of kill the flexibility that we have as homeschoolers. And I found it hard sometimes feeling like I was slave to these DVDs. And about a little over halfway through the year, I loosened up a little bit. And we did more things like outside and fewer things inside, if you catch my drift. Doing more activities instead of sitting and watching her. Phonics and numbers were the two ones that you're never skipping those. No, you're never skipping those at all. You're not skipping Bible. And not only Bible, because it has like the prayer in the morning, the Pledge of Allegiance, kind of the morning warm-up, the singing, that type of thing. If you have a kid who is very kinetic, they're a kinetic learner, this is probably not for them. I mean, you know your kid better than anyone else does. You're going to be the judge here, but you do have to sit and pay attention to this. It can be a little long if you take long breaks like some people did. I'd be like, okay, 5-minute break. And it'd be like 20 minutes later, it's like, okay, we gotta keep moving on with this. I feel like that can happen with anything though. But yeah, so I hope that you enjoyed this video today. 'Tis the season for deciding what you want to do for homeschool next year. If you're going to homeschool next year, whether it's your first year or your 12th year or your 20th year, whatever, you have to make decisions. And I know there's a lot of pressure, but keep in mind that you know you and your kids better than anyone else does. So you're going to be the one to decide what is best. And also know if you do something one year, doesn't necessarily mean you have to do the same thing the next year. Change it up. Keep it interesting, keep it fun, do what you guys need to do, because that is the beauty and the flexibility of homeschooling. So if you enjoyed this video today, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. I can link right over here my homeschool playlist and some other videos over here that you may enjoy. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.